Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. When you are listening to this is another episode of One Door at a Time. And I am your host, Jason Richardson, the Vice President of the Home Service Companies for Security National Life. And today I'm glad to be joined by Miss Jessica Franks. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
So I appreciate you being able to join today. And just for those keeping score, this is the 10th interview. So we finally hit double digits. And whether you're listening to this on Spotify or YouTube, be sure to smash that follow button so you don't miss any of our content that flows to those mediums, and hit the applicable sign of appreciation, the like button, or whatever Spotify calls it. Maybe the stars. That's what they call it, the stars. So having said that, Jessica, why don't you start us off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself and then how you got into the insurance business?
I'm Jessica Franks. I work in the Alexandria office as a manager. I've been doing this for 15 years and I'm over two different parishes, but it kind of goes a little outer that way. I came into the business at a very young age. I was actually 21 years old and pregnant for my first child. And it's crazy because my manager that hired me, she told me that I probably would not work out in this job, but I ended up being one of the top agents over the years. And then I came into management in 2017, and I've gotten many awards and won many trips, and it's been great.
So it's interesting that your manager would say that. Do you feel like that was her real belief, or do you feel like she was kind of egging you on or trying to make you mad enough to push forward?
I really thought she didn't think I would make it because I was 3 months pregnant and I was so young. I just didn't think she thought I had it in me to make it, but I wanted to prove her wrong, and I did.
Well, that's some of that drive that makes you and others like you successful, is that drive to not only succeed for your and your family's benefit, but also sometimes to prove people wrong. I remember one time early on, my district manager, she told me that I couldn't write anything without my sales manager present. So I went out that day and wrote 4 or 5 applications, came back, had collected like $600, came back in, and she said, "Well, I need to make you mad more often." Um, but and some people can't work when they're mad, but if you're able to utilize that to push you forward to prove them wrong, like you were saying, then certainly it can be a fuel to your fire, so to speak.
Yes.
So, but I mean, starting at 21 years old, I mean, which I did as well. I wasn't pregnant. Newsflash. My wife, however, was pregnant with our second child at that time, and so yeah, I mean that's a young age to get in at anything, and then especially to have stayed in it and excelled as you have through these 15 years. Now, of course, Jessica, for those of you who don't know, she is part of Kilpatrick Life, which is one of Security National's home service companies. And we purchased Kilpatrick Life in, I think, 2019. It's hard to believe that this end of this year be like 4 years ago or whatever. But so Jessica came as a part of that acquisition, and as much as Security National was wanting the premium associated with Kilpatrick Life, one of the things that we were fortunate enough to purchase was the agent uh, manager field force, of which Jessica was one of. So it's definitely been a good fit for the company because of people like Jessica that's been able to make it work despite the many changes that were given to her. Again, some of that driving force to say, well, some people say I'm not going to make it. Well, I'll prove them wrong. And you're in central LA or Louisiana, for those of you who are not from the South. And as she mentioned, she covers 2 different parishes. So, how many agents do you have currently, Jessica?
I have 82, but
So,
I mean, active wise, there's like, oof, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I keep up with each and every one of them, but I lose count because I'm constantly adding on new ones.
Right, right. Well, and for those people that might be in the home service business but are used to a traditional um, model like I came from and like Kilpatrick used to be, usually it was like, hey, I had 6 or 7 at the max, and hey, I'm tapped out. Just for somebody in that kind of mindset still, to hear you say that I have 80 plus agents, they're like, holy moly. Holy cow, Batman.
46
There's no way.
active. Yeah. I got 46 that I keep, definitely keep up with every week and every day.
Right. In the independent world, obviously people can write with whomever they want to write with or not write at all. It's entirely up to them. And of course, Jessica and people like Jessica, focus their attention and efforts on those people that want help, desire help, and are pushing towards success, because that's ultimately where she's pushing towards. But I'm sure that it's definitely been a mindset change for you, as it has for everybody else that comes from the captive side of things, to have to manage or lead that many people.
Yes, because I had a staff of 4, and then they had combined some staff. So I think I had like 7 when we first started. And then from there, I recruited the rest of them.
It's definitely an adjustment, because you can't baby people. Like I know that there's a few. I'm not going to call any names just in case they're listening to this podcast.
Yes.
The names will be changed to protect the guilty, but definitely it is more about leading them somewhere. You can lead the horse to the trough, but you can't make them drink. So about leading people and how to be successful, and it depends on their situation in life. How successful do they want to be? Is this just a side hustle, or is this their primary source of income? And the more that they're dedicated to us, the more we're dedicated to them, obviously. So they're in Alexandria. I got to ask a question that I always hear. It's funny, and without kind of giving away things, I'll just go ahead and ask it and elaborate a little bit later. But do people still buy insurance in Central Louisiana?
Yes. All
Oh,
day, every day.
all that, yeah, exactly. And and a matter of fact, if truth be told, and this is for all of the areas, not just for Jessica's, but we don't even scratch the surface of the amount of people that need our services. But the reason I asked that is because it never fails. I'm at a meeting, or meeting with one of our partner funeral homes, or meeting with an agent at a eating place or somewhere out there in the field. And they say, yeah, people are just not buying insurance anymore. And I'm like, wow, it's amazing that nobody buys insurance here, but they buy it next door.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
I've even had people that sell in the same area that I sell tell me that nobody's buying insurance, and I'm like, I just had an application I turned in yesterday. I was, what's this about?
I know I deal with that all the time. The agents that kind of fall off, and I'm like, okay, just sell at least one. And well, I can't get nobody to come through. I'm like, well, how? Whenever this one's selling 10 to 15 apps, I don't get it.
Yeah. So
Just the push of it.
yeah, I mean, people, misery loves company, and so they're looking for somebody else to say, "Oh, that's right, darling. Can't sell no insurance. It's just so
Mhm.
hard out there." And of course, not to take anything away from what we do, especially those agents that are doing it every day. I mean, it is not an easy job when temperatures are 107 degrees before southern humidity strikes you. It can be a hard thing at times, but it's a fun and a rewarding career, for sure. So for those of you who might be listening to this, that all of this stuff sounds Greek to you because you've never been in the insurance business, or maybe never been in the home service side of things. Uh, just to kind of give you a breakdown, especially if you're new to the podcast, the home service side of the business goes straight to, as its name applies, to the homes. We're kneecap to kneecap talking with families We normally serve the middle to lower income bracket, which in this day and age is very underserved, as many companies are trying to send things totally automatic and not have that connection and relationship that we've traditionally had with these families. Jessica's been doing this for 15 years. I've been doing it for 23. And so, we've started to see people grow up, which is amazing to me because I haven't got any older, right? How are these people growing up and having kids? I have not gotten any older.
Right.
So, but Mark Twain famously said that the Nile ain't just a river in Egypt. So, in fact, I am getting older, as we all are. But the home service side of the business can be a very rewarding, and it's not a career that can be like microwave success as some insurance companies, and not just insurance companies, any company can say, oh, you can make $2 million the first year you're in the business, that kind of thing. We specialize in crock pot success. So you can build a steady flow of renewal stream over the course of time. Obviously, with advanced commissions and the bonuses that we provide, you can also provide for your family in the meantime. But the big thing is setting up a income and a renewal stream that is unlike any other business that's out there. So, if you are not familiar with all of these terms and you would like to know more, you can visit our website, www.snlhomeservice.com, and click on the careers deal and follow the instructions there. And we'll forward you to managers like Jessica or others, depending on where you're living at. And we'd love to talk to you more about it. Or if you are in the home service business, but you've never heard of Security National before, you like what you do, but you don't necessarily like whom you're doing it with anymore, then you can also reach out to us at www.snlhomeservice.com and click the careers button and find out how you can become a member of a growing community of agents. I mean, over the last 10 I guess almost 10 years now. We're over 1,200 agents more than what we had. So, I mean, not many home service companies can say that in the last 10 years with recession, COVID, all those other kind of things that they've been able to grow at that kind of a clip. And it's because of people like Jessica and her agents and others that are out there across the 18 states that we're in. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out to us at that. Now, Jessica, I always like to give some kind of sales tidbit for the listeners out there. So do you have a sales tidbit, a little piece of knowledge that people say, well, maybe I've never even thought about using that for a sales technique that you can share with the listeners today?
I've always went off and told my agents, build a relationship with your clients. And as long as you're there for them, they're going to be there for you and they're going to help you. That's how I built my staff. That's how I built my book when I was an agent. I just, no matter what, just be there for them. Don't just be their agent or their worker. They become family and people that you really care about. And as long as you show them that you care, they're always going to be there for you. And they're going to help you, send you referrals. Everyone knows what I do. And that's from all my clients, friends, and family. Always put yourself out there and let people know what you do also.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're ashamed of what you're doing, then you're in the wrong line of work. And so, yeah, feel free, like Jessica said, to put that out there. And it's hard talking about building relationships because we always want the sale right now. Unfortunately, not all of our sales are made the second that we give the price, right? So many times it's often later that those sales end up coming through, but they do end up being lucrative. So don't be one or done. Be sure to continue to build. And going back to that crock pot success that I mentioned earlier, that hey, Rome wouldn't build overnight, neither will your income stream. So it does take time and a lot of effort, but it can be very rewarding. And not just from the renewal aspect, but, and I'm sure Jessica's the same way, but I've been to wakes. I've seen babies born. I've seen people die. As a matter of fact, at the time of this recording, I was just notified yesterday that the first policy I ever wrote with Security National Life, first customer I ever wrote with Security National Life died. And so, that kind of thing happens. But when the family is able to put their loved one away with dignity and not have to pass the hat around as a result of lack of planning, it does make everything that we do worth it. So, Jessica, anything else that you would like to leave with the listeners as we wrap this thing up today?
That's it. Just if they'd love to come join us, give us a call.
There you go, folks. Probably the easiest way to do, because I can't remember the toll-free number off the top of my head, is to visit us at the website, www.snl, as in Security National Life, snlhomeservice.com, and hit the careers, and that'll patch you through to wherever you are at. And hopefully we can take care of you, whether you're experienced or not. And so thank you again, Jessica, for being with us today. And thank you, the listener. And I hope that you've already have, but if you have not, be sure to subscribe to the channel, whether on Spotify or YouTube, and hit the applicable sign of appreciation. I would appreciate it. And I'm sure Jessica will, and others will too. And until next time, happy selling.